And there's a spider. That better be, okay. It's not on the inside of the window. I was gonna kill you. Hello, my gorgeous ones. Welcome to Alicia Budget Beauty. My name is Alicia. Here on my channel, I love affordable fashion and beauty. I do hauls, tutorials, reviews, all sorts of fun stuff. So if that sounds good to you, please subscribe, stick around, be a friend. And today, you guys, I'm going to attempt, this is so hard, but I'm going to actually rank all of the palettes that I used in the month of June. And this is so very hard for me because honestly, every one of these palettes I really loved this month. All of my other month, I didn't do rankings, but I would say like these are good, really good, great. I would still declutter a few in those other ones. This one, I'm not decluttering any of these palettes. I have 21 of them and they are just so good. It's kind of like choosing between my babies. It's really hard, but I just had some good palettes this month. So some are indie, a few lower, like really inexpensive, and a few higher end too. So this also helps you guys kind of see a bit of my collection and get my thoughts on my collection. So if you want to see my ranking, this is so hard. Keep on watching. Okay, you guys, let's go ahead and dive in before I change my mind on ranking these. All right, so on the bottom is BH Cosmetics Beautiful in Barcelona. Now, I love the BH formula, especially when it's their really good formula. You know, if you're familiar with BH, you know that they have like this top tier, excellent, should be high end, and then they've got a really good formula. And the Barcelona is a good formula. I don't think it's their best. And they did do this weird thing when they came out with these travel palettes where they came out with them initially and then they reformulated some. So, and to be better. And I'm not sure if this is one of the original formula. It's good. Like I said, it's not great. This color story just doesn't like grab me necessarily. I mean, you do have like some warm neutrals in here. The pop of blue is pretty. I think it perfectly represents, or what I would imagine is, Barcelona. It's just not that exciting to me, but it is a good palette. Next up, we have the Pacifica Magical Animals. Wait, Animal Magic. And I use this in my full face of drugstore. If you missed that and want to check it out, go find that video. And I love this palette, and this is hard for me to put it so low, but it's just the others are so good. But I think this is a great drugstore palette. You get a lot of bang for your buck in here. I really love this dragon. I mean, I am a sucker, obviously, for a green. I love this eye look. You're gonna see which palette I used here in a minute. But these shimmers in here are really good. Some of them are satin and not quite as impactful. And then the marbled ones are a little bit more punchy. And then the mattes just blend really nicely. So it is a good, affordable palette. Next we have, this is one that no one really ever talks about, or a brand people don't talk about either. This is Beauty for Real Golden Hour. I actually adore this palette. So Beauty for Real is marketed more towards mature skin. The lady who owns the brand is more mature herself. She often has herself in her videos, her reels on Instagram, her pictures, and then often uses more mature like models, which I think is amazing. And they came out with this palette early last summer or spring. And it really does represent like golden hour here. It's so pretty. Got warm tones, you got blue. Like I love to shoot this palette over my pool because it just like picks up the shiny shimmers in here, reflective on the light. And this shade right here, Pink Sands, like almost puts this where I would want to put it up top. It is so beautiful. It's kind of hard to tell here. We have some crazy weather going on right now. There, you can kind of see how shiny that is, but it's really cloudy, but then there's like weird bright light coming in right now. So if this washes out and you can't tell, just know that this is a beautiful palette. Next up is what I have on my eyes, and I've got on heels, so I have to kind of squat down, but the glitter, and normally I'm not a glitter girl, but it's so beautiful in this palette. So this is the She Glam Virtuous Virgo palette. I bought these when they came out. I think I bought like 7 of them. I tried a couple, they were good, but I just kind of forgot about them. And when I did my video on alternatives for the Natasha Denona Yucca palette, I'm really sad that I did not pull this out. I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I overlooked it in my collection, because does it have like the blue tones in it or the like orangey tones that the Yucca palette does? No. But if you want something that's a similar tone of green, and this is $6. You guys, the quality of the mattes is so good. Look how beautiful the grungy greens are. And then this up here is this glitter that is so beautiful. I didn't have to use glitter glue either. It stuck, even though it's got kind of bigger chunks. It is stunning, and it is $6. So it is really, really good. All right, coming in next, we have the Avocado Toast palette. So this was in my Yucca alternatives video, and I still think it is a good alternative. It's a little bit more cooler tone than the Yucca palette, a little bit more subdued, mid-toned as well, but this is a beautiful palette. I mean, this Haas Avocados is a stunning, stunning shimmer shade. Beautiful, sucker for those greens. And this pink I think is really special because it kind of helps, you know, balance out the greens, brings something different in, as well as this yellow. So this is the really good formula for BH. I think everyone loved this series so much. The Mimosa palette, the Blueberry Muffin palette, they were all really good. Now these are brand new to my collection. This is the holiday collection that came out from Tarte. And I think this got unfairly looked over when they came out. My friend Haley J Beauty, I think that's what it's called. She has a YouTube, met her on Instagram a couple years ago. And on her YouTube, she talked about these and said that they were really good. And I'd always kind of wondered, when the Man Eater After Dark came out by Tarte, everyone went bonkers. And then I think they just brought this out too soon after. It was just right after that release. And because the color stories weren't as exciting, I think it got passed over. And a lot of people thought, oh, that's just Tarte, back to like their rosy and their boring neutrals. And then this one's the cooler tone palette. This is the one I was the most drawn to whenever it released. And I wanted to buy just one, but you had to buy both. And because I was like, I wasn't really into neutrals at the time, I just was like, I'm not gonna get it. But since Haley said it was so good, I decided to grab them. I got both of these for about $30, so $15 each. The packaging is stunning. It is a perfect little size. It's really not that big. And you get a lot of shades in here. I think the pan sizes are perfect. And this chrome shimmer is so pretty. This blue, then we have this steel shade, is so soft and squishy. This is the same type of shimmer formula that was in the Man Eater palette, which everyone really, really loved and they were impressed with. I really loved my look with these. They're not like indie level shimmers to me, but they're very sparkly, very pretty, and you can get lots of everyday looks from these. Okay, next we have Garden of Juvias by Juvia's Place. Now, this could potentially go up higher in the rankings for me. I just only tried it once, so I just didn't really know where I wanted to put this, but this is a beautiful, beautiful pastel palette. These shimmers in here are so sparkly and beautiful. This may be one of my favorite pastel palettes that I own now. The purples in it is pretty. The pink. Juvia's has an amazing formula, very, very affordable. And this one, it got like a tiny bit of buzz, but not a lot. And I think had this come out at a better time, this came out after some other pastel palettes were coming out, I think this would have had a little bit more hype. But if you need a pastel palette, I do recommend this one. Next, we have a Moira Cosmetics palette. We have All That Is You. This was in their Sweet series palettes. This reminds me a lot of the Glamlite Happy Hour palettes with like your purples in here. But I love Moira's formula. It is so good. It's so inexpensive. Look how shiny that shimmer is. You're not gonna get multi-chromes in here necessarily, but you're gonna get really solid, beautiful shimmers and very, very pigmented, blendable, high quality mattes for a really good price. Moira, you guys, I keep saying it, but they are the new BH or Colourpop. They're coming out with so much stuff, but it's all good and it's all very curated, whereas sometimes Colourpop can just come out with just a bunch of nonsense all at once. They're really smart about what they are releasing, and their eyeshadows, if you have not tried them, you will be blown away, I promise. Okay, next up we have a Colourpop palette, speaking of Colourpop, and this is the It's a Mood palette. Now, I've only used this palette twice, so I cannot speak to all the shades in here, but I do have some of their other mega palettes that have a really, really good quality to them. The mattes are pigmented, the shimmers are really beautiful. I like how this is laid out in your rows here, pretty much monochromatic, slightly different right here where you've got a neutral, but this was another one that I said you could get some similar looks from the Yucca palette out of it. You can just do so much with this palette, so I ranked it a little bit higher, but again, I struggle with these rankings. Like as I'm talking about it, I'm like, I should have put this lower, but it's still a really, really good palette. Then we have my beautiful Moira. If you missed my haul where I did compare them to like the next Colourpop, and I had these palettes in it, cream blushes, I had the multi-chrome liners, all sorts of things in that. Go watch that, because maybe it will convince you that you need to try Moira. But these are from the Moira Land series that came out. So we have the Magic Dreaming and the Fun is in the Air. And you guys, these palettes are so, so good. The packaging, go watch that video. Like everything that they thought of for the packaging is just unreal for the price. But we have this really bright, colorful color story here. This is a beautiful spring and summer palette. This is such a punchy, true neon here in the middle that I love in the inner corner. It makes me so happy. And then we also have this one here that is a little bit more cool tone, purples, and some neutrals, pink, these little teals. This ranked slightly higher than this one for me, primarily because I'm a sucker for like any type of silver or silver toned shimmers, and they're just beautiful in this one. But I did also love the look from this palette whenever I mixed a gray. I never really thought about doing this, but because it was in the palette, it was more visually obvious to me. So I did a gray, I did the orange, and then this color here, and then did a pink shimmer in the inner corner. And the gray looks so cool with neons. I would have never really thought to pair them together, but I guess they thought of it, put it in the palette, and it does make sense, and it is beautiful on the eyes. Next, we have a palette that unfortunately is no longer available, but no one really talks about Scott Barnes. So I wanted to talk about it. I used it, so I've got to have it in this video. But this is it was in a series. There were two of them. The Snatch, it's called something weird. Snatchroll, number 2. So Scott Barnes, if you didn't know, he does all sorts of celebrities makeup, but most notoriously he does J-Lo's makeup. But he does have a makeup line. I have these 2 palettes, I have a couple of blushes, and then I have a whole bunch of lip glosses by him. And I love the quality of his shadows. This is like luxury to me. I know it's in cardboard packaging, and this was originally $80-something. I got it on sale whenever he got rid of like almost all of his makeup on his site. I got it so cheap. I want to say I got it for like $20 or something crazy like that. So I bought this one, I bought the Snatchroll one, I went crazy and bought all these lip glosses, and I don't really know what he's doing with his makeup line right now. He doesn't have a lot out. He has a blush palette, a contour palette, but not a lot. But if he comes out with more shadows and you see them on sale, I highly recommend them. They are not like indie, they're not like gonna have shifts and all that, but they just look beautiful in the eyes. You look very like elegant. And I mean, he's a celebrity makeup artist. That's kind of what the makeup looks like whenever you do your own makeup with his shadows. So I love it. I had to put it up here, even though it's not like super exciting, but it's higher end, but I got it for cheap, which makes me happy. Okay, now we're entering more of our tops. So we have the Glamlite Barbie palette. Now, there's a chance that this one could end up ranking higher one day. I actually just got this in my collection not too long ago. I don't know what I was thinking. Well, I was on a palette no-buy that I was staying really, really strict to for months. I only allowed myself to buy just a few palettes for about 7 months. And then now I've kind of gone crazy again. Not too bad, not like I used to. But this came out during the time where I wasn't supposed to be buying very many palettes. So I passed it up and then I always regretted it. And then with the Barbie movie coming out and everyone finding this at TJ Maxx or Marshall's, I would look and I could never find it. So I finally found it on Mercari. And I decided to just go ahead and get it. And you can't get it on the website anymore. I think she should have brought this back out with the Barbie movie coming out, because I think everyone that didn't get it would have gotten it. But it's that same Glamlite formula that has those really super shiny reflective shimmers in it. And then these beautiful mattes. I love that you have like lighter to deeper. I actually wore this to a Barbie themed birthday and it was perfect, just had to. So yes, I love this, and there's a chance that this could rank higher in the future. By the way, it's now raining, so you may hear that because I have my phone like on a windowsill and there's thunder. I'm really sorry, you guys, if this ruins this video. Okay, then we have the Michaela palette. Saying, you know, I didn't know which one to rank higher or lower. I've used this one a few more times. That's why I ranked it higher than the Barbie palette. But I mean, you've got your neutrals here. You've got warm tones, cool tones, colorful. You've got quads of green, purple. I mean, this palette really just makes sense whenever you really look at it. The quality's great. I know Michaela is super controversial and divisive right now. I'm just of the mind that like, hey, I like this palette, who cares? And there's a spider, that better be, okay. It's not on the inside of the window. I was gonna kill you. All right, then we have my beloved Warriors Wear Pink. So this is the top, I guess, this is the top 7 maybe. So I love this palette. I have a video on it if you want to go watch it. It's a very emotional video. I will just warn you about that. This is a collaboration that is giving back to a beautiful, stunning creator who is battling breast cancer. It was also in collaboration with Doodles by the Bunny. The reason why I'm just not putting it at the top is color story wise. I think the formula is so good, and I don't think enough people gave this palette a chance. I don't know if it was the timing. It came out right when that dumb Instagram ban was going on, so I myself didn't get to share it on time. And I think the other thing is, I think a lot of people, when they saw the color story, they weren't completely drawn to it. But as I said in my video, whenever I was testing it out and I created 2 looks, I swatched it. It is one of those that you appreciate more once it's on the eyes, and even whenever you swatch it. I don't think the colors translate in the pan like they do on the eyes. Like this shade here is one of my favorites in my entire huge collection. It is Familia is the name, and it is a shifty bronze red that is so unique and so gorgeous. And I just think more people should have given this palette a chance. It is really, really, really good. Then we have the Simply Posh Citrus Punch palette. I just wore this one again yesterday. I had to pull it back out. I was telling my friend Caitlin House Makeup, if you don't follow her on Instagram or if you're not subscribed to her on YouTube, go do it. She is so talented at her makeup. She also wears fabulous wigs. She does a lot of indie makeup, or specifically indie palettes. And I was just telling her last night that sometimes I wish I didn't have my giant collection because of just how simple it would be to be like, you know what, this is my summer palette and I'm gonna wear this all summer long. It would be so much easier that way, and I would choose this palette. This one, and maybe like, if I had to pick, I'd maybe choose 2 others, and I could probably live with that. But I just love makeup too much and I have to have all these palettes. But this is summer to me. It is beautiful. I love these sparkly multi-sparkles here in the middle. It is very light and like a light topper. It is not like a thick, opaque type of multi-chrome. They're just nice, light, sparkly, beautiful. I mean, this is so yummy. I love it. Then we have the Natasha Denona Yucca palette. So no, this is not in, let's see, how many do we have left? We got 3 more left. So this is number 4 out of 21. So that is ranked pretty high, but it's not ranked number 1 because I do think it has some flaws. And maybe that'll make you feel better if you haven't gotten this palette yet, or if you can't afford it, whatever the reason. So color story, gorgeous. Shimmers in here. Oh my, if I was just going on shimmers, this would be number 1 or number 2. It would compete with the one that I actually have as number 1 in this ranking, shimmer wise. But the mattes, even though I love the color story, the mattes in here were weird to me. They're like okay. And in his past history with me with Natasha Denona, the shimmers in other palettes haven't been as good as this one, but the mattes were like, oh my gosh, they're amazing. The mattes in here are just kind of like dull, and they take a lot of building, and then they get a little muddy, and I'm not used to that with her mattes. So they also just, I don't know, like this looks like it's gonna be real bright, but you have to really kind of keep building it up. So the shimmers though, oh my gosh, I have to give her credit. They're beautiful, so beautiful. I mean, this one here, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, Makia. It is, oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. And so is this one here. I mean, yeah, shimmers, top notch, but it's ranked number 4 because the mattes weren't perfect. Then in number 3, we have the Sydney Grace Blessed. This is in collaboration with Glitzy Fritzy. So I used this palette whenever I did my video going off about the Instagram ban. So if you wanna go see that, and just watch how they perform, go watch that video. But I also used it off camera. And I mean, Sydney Grace is in my tops. It probably always will be. I've said it a million times, but if you haven't seen my other videos, out of all the brands, I think Sydney Grace is the most consistent because she knows what works and she sticks to it. Like there's really no surprises. You're not like, oh, this is a new formula and not as good. Like, they're so easy to use. Looks are always perfect. They always look professional. I think like color story wise, so good. I mean, Glitzy Fritzy did an amazing job with this. You guys go sub to her if you're not. She's so cute and fun and talented. And I think she did a great job with this. So Mary is also so Alicia. I love that green so much. Gorgeous. And Shy Guy is also stunning. So this is number 3. It is such a good palette. Coming in at number 2, and this was hard because this is my favorite cool tone palette in my collection. I say that all the time. This is the Eternal Eclipse palette from Lunar Beauty. I mean, I've said it. I've said it. If you've been following me for a while, if I have a date night, if I know I want to do a smoky eye, if I want a silver shimmer that I know looks beautiful, or if I want to mix neutrals with like the more smoky, this is the palette. If this appeals to you at all, I 1000% recommend it. I think it's so good. It's just so usable. Like you really kind of, if you're not like a super color person and you like smoky and you like neutral, this is your girl. This is your girl. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, coming in at number 1, the Into the Night Glaminatrix palette. So this palette absolutely won my heart. Whenever I first got it and I swatched it, this is a perfect example of do not judge off of swatches alone. I thought, well, I've got a dud. I mean, some swatched pretty, but some not so much. And I have the Nearly Neutral palette and I'm like, this does not feel the same even. Like the texture doesn't feel the same. But man, I love this palette so much. I think the shimmers in here are just, they're so freaking yummy. Top Shelf, this pink, After Dark, My Silver Loving Heart. Oh my gosh. And Bustling. These 3 alone just make my heart swoon. I love this Moonlight shade here is gorgeous. I love this murky green here. You can go grungy, you can go smoky, you can go like Miami Nights. My daughter used this for her dance recital and it was so beautiful on her. We just used the shimmers, that's it. And it's just, oh, I love it so much. This palette is so good, and I've really been impressed just with my interactions with Glaminatrix as well. I know, you know, I had trouble getting my nearly neutral palette in. It took a really long time. Two of my shades in here were busted. They replaced them. They replaced them. They were so kind about it. So I'm just impressed with the brand overall. Packaging's gorgeous. Like, oh, it's so good. So it came in as my #1 for the month of June. You guys, I did it. I did it. I ranked. I actually ranked. And I need to stop this video before I change my mind and like re-rank. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. You know, this is my reminder. Like most of these I already had. A few were new. But you don't have to go get everything new. Just enjoy what's in your collection as well. But if any of these are of interest to you, then I would recommend all of them that were in this video this month. That's it, you guys. Let me know what was your favorite and what you used in the month of June. And as always, have fun shopping. Budget shopping. Bye.